All right, so today we're going to work on the wood panels around the shop, all of the green that we have here. And we are going to use Prussian blue, yellow ochre, white, and a bit of black. If you like, you could easily mask the area where you want to put the color. Sorry, it's from here down.
Those scallop things, where does that fit in?
Well, the scallop part is right here. This is all of this part here is the awning. So the scallop part is right here.
Okay.
But we're not going to worry about that for now. We'll just paint straight line, and then we will put the scallop part on top. I'm just thinking, you know, what I'd love to see in this, so keep in mind, is the shadows and the light. This is what's nice about this whole reference, is that it has a soft, beautiful light over the wood. So what we'll do is we will try to get some kind of highlight. And let's put, this is the scallop part. And then we're going to put this over. So we're not going to worry about that, because we can put this, push the scallop part down a bit after when we're done. Now I'm going to mix Prussian blue and yellow ochre. Okay, I'm mixing quite a bit of paint in here, so I don't have to keep mixing it over and over again. And then I'll add the light and dark. So I'll add the white, or if I want more yellow for the highlighted part, if I want to put more yellow, or I want to put more white, I'll have enough in here for something like this. So kind of, let's make it a little bit more bluer. That's good. There's a part up here. This part is darker because this is where the awning is casting shadow over the wood. So I'm going to start with this part right here, and I'm using a flat brush or a bright. So it's just blue and Prussian blue and yellow ochre, and I'm going to spread this color. And then I'm going to take a little bit of black with my, like, softly, don't take too much. Mix it here, just a bit on the side. You don't want to mix your black with everything, and add some black over here. This is still wet, so I can add the black here without mixing it. I really want this dark, really dark, because then when I start highlighting down here, it will look fantastic. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the same black, a little bit of that green, and I'm going to put it here on this side, on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, on both sides. Because this is where I'm going to be putting the flowers. And if you have a dark background where the flowers are going to sit, it will look, the flowers will pop. Okay. I can paint over anything I'm putting in here. So I'm just kind of putting a color that will just continue the rest of the wood color, so it doesn't look like it's disconnected. Now, I'm going to take a little bit of the color I mixed right here, and I'm going to take a little bit of white. I will stop after this. A little bit of white and yellow ochre. Corner of my brush. I'm just kind of adding the highlight softly. I want to add the highlight while the paint is still wet, because what this will do is it will give me a soft transition between the dark, strong dark that I've added on top and the color of the wood with the soft highlight. If I wait for it to dry to add this lighter color that I'm adding right now, if I wait for this to dry, I will end up with a harsh line. And this is what I'm trying to avoid, a harsh line. I'm just cleaning up where I have I have some paint over this. I don't want it. Do you want me to stop for now?
For a minute.
Yeah, sure.
Did you put the dark down on both sides? I see. We'd already put some brown there.
Yes, yes. I put the dark both sides. And I know it looks really dark, almost black, but it's a dark green. But we're going to put stuff over it. Like we're going to put flowers and highlights and you know, hanging plants or stuff like that. So you're not going to see this. We're just preparing for what's going to come.
I'm sorry, Leah. I lost my internet. Can you have it back? What colors are you using there?
So I will pause and I'll tell you the colors.
Thank you.
Okay, so now what we're going to do is take some black and mix it with green and put a little bit of a dark color in here, dark green. Just kind of it's the wood, but it's wood in the shadow, because this panel up here is overlapping higher than this part. So right there. Again, we'll do the other one at the same time. Just to give it a bit of an interesting detail in here. And simplified detail. Okay, I'm going to take green now, just green. I need to stand up to see what I'm doing. A little bit of white. And the green. And I will soften this dark black using the green. Again, if you really don't want to do that, no problem. Ignore it. In the reference, there's a lot of detail on the woodwork, so we're not going to go into that. It's too much work. So we're just going to give it a hint of interesting.
So you're doing that above and below the darker color, or just?
Yeah, a little bit on top and a little bit at the bottom.
Okay.
Both. I'll wait for you to finish this part, and then I'll continue with the green. Okay, I'll wait. I'm gonna pause. Okay, so now at this point, I mixed the green I have here with white, more white. And because this is already dry, I put a bit of paint on my brush, and I'm just going to softly add this highlight here. It's like a dry brush.
You added more white.
Yes, I added. Yes, yeah, I added more white, and I have to stand up for this. With the corner of my brush, I'm doing a kind of a circular brush stroke. Push a bit up so I don't end up with a harsh, sharp line. A little bit, corner of my brush, and it is actually a dry brush. Corner of your brush. All of this will look much better when we start putting the awning and the rest of the stuff in there that we're going to put. Darker again here, because I went with the highlight too much to the... I'm going to darken the side a bit again, right here, just to have a beautiful spot of dark spot, light spot, sorry, right there. So if I highlight the whole thing, it will take away from that kind of beautiful, as if you have a spotlight on this part. So I don't want to highlight everything. Just want to kind of darken around it. There we go. You will see when we start putting the other, the pots and the flowers, and it will look really, really nice. I'm adding a tiny bit of, again, black and green, and I'm just softening this line, and right here it will dry darker, and you see now how The light is only here, in this area. Okay. All right. Oh, jeez. Why? Okay. Um, all right. I'm going to pause for a minute. Okay, so now I'm going to continue adding color. I'm going to grab the same color I used for the top part. And I don't want it to be too light or too dark, just kind of medium tone. So I can add my darks and lights with the details, and I can highlight the way I want. So I'm just going to put right there, like this. And you'll see in a minute, I'm going to be adding other details to show dark and light in a minute. I know this is going to be wood as well, but there will be a detail in between, so I just don't want to lose my white line.
Red white to that layer?
A little bit of white, yes. There's a little bit of white in here.
Okay.
I'm going to darken a little bit with a bit of black. Black mixed with green down here. So when I get to the bottom part, I'm going to darken a little bit with dark green, with black. And now, same here. I mean, I don't have to do it too much because there would be flowers overlapping eventually, but just a bit. Okay, a little bit at the bottom. I'll go back to the same color again. A little bit of black with my green, and I'm going to do the bottom part. And then again, we're good now. Next step. I'm going to take a dark color, which is black, and I'm going to mix it with green. I'm going to do my batch right there. Put some dark, some black in it. I'm going to put some black in my green. And I'm going to do this. So I'll tell you, I'll explain why I'm doing this. I'm just going to put it and then I'll explain. And if you like, you're welcome to put some masking tape. All right, so this frame, the door frame, is a little bit higher than the wall here, than the panel here. The light is coming from left to right. So the light is hitting this panel from this side, and when it hits from this side, it's going to cast a shadow on the panel behind it. Same idea is here. Although you're not going to see it much. Actually, you know what? Don't do that, because we're not going to see it that much. What else do we have? Light hitting this way, right here. I think we're going to need to add a little bit of dark on this. Otherwise, it's going to look too flat. Yep. And before I continue with the dark color, I'm just going to put this green right here. And the same idea, black with green. Okay, that's all. That's great. Looks okay here. We're good. Next step, clean my brush very well so I don't have black on it. Get the green, mix green again. You don't have to mix it exactly the same at this point because we're going to put white in here.
I have to pick Maggie up at the groomer, Leal.
All right.
So I'll have to pick up the video.
No problem. All right, we'll see you next week.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so now I'm putting white in this, and I'm going to be doing the other side. So I mentioned that the light is coming from the left to right, meaning that this part of the wood is going to catch more light. Let's see, more white in here. Put more white. Clean my brush. Wipe it a bit so I don't get messy color. And I'm going to do the same on this side. I'm going to put some white, not white, lighter green. On this side. Okay, now continue that all the way up. Same. And again, light is going to hit this part. And this part. That gives the wood some perspective, some depth. It's not flat. It doesn't look flat. And here, same. I'm always ready with the color, base color. So when I put my white or black, I put them in a corner of the palette, so I can go back and adjust if I make a mess. All right, one more here. Now I can go on with more details like this, but I'm going to keep it simple. I'm not going to do that. I can add more detail with the wood, but there's no need. Let's just keep it simple. Because by the time we put the flowers, it's going to be pretty busy. Now I'll wait for it to dry, and if I need to put a little bit more highlights, then I can do that. Round brush. I'm going to highlight this a little bit more. No, I'm not highlighting enough. Especially the upper part. This is where all the light is going to be. Most of the light is going to be in this circle right here. So it'll be nice if I highlight upper part of this and here. Right here. All right. So tiny bit more light on the side upper on the right hand side, just the upper part. Sorry, I'm gonna have to turn this around to clean up. I'm using water to clean up with a clean brush. I'll pick up the wet paint and I clean up my lines. There are other tools we can use, like a rubber kind of tool, but I don't think we need to. So now all I have to do is just clean up. And I'm going to do a little bit of highlighting some parts. So I said that this part, I mentioned that this part is highlighted. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to take some white with my color, with the green. And I'm going to do exactly what I did top part here. I'm going to add a tiny bit of more yellow in there. And white. And I'm going to come here with the corner of my brush, softly. It will dry darker. And by the time it's dry, if it's not dark enough, that's okay. I will add I will glaze it with a darker color. So I'm not concerned right now. I always try to wait for it to dry and then I will assess, see what I need to add. Okay, it's gonna keep this bottom part darker. It will dry darker. And I'm going to do the same right here. Just kind of a couple of soft, light, couple of brush strokes. All right. Adjusting my values, getting rid of sharp lines and trying to get some softness of the highlights around. Now, I lost some of the shadow I have here. Let me clean my brush. All right, let's take some of this black again and add it to the green, or add the green right here. Wipe my brush. I lost that shadow I had here when I put the highlights, so I'm just cleaning up. There. Some of this shadow too. Right. I can add another panel right here, right there at the bottom. So it's not just kind of green only and there's no detail. I can add that. I can put a panel there if I want, but I am not going to decide on this right now. I will wait and see how it's going to look once we have the flowers. And if I feel that this needs something, I'll do it. But right now, let's keep it just the way it is. There's kind of a lot of detail coming. So there's no need. I'm mixing again the base color of the green, medium tone. So blue, yellow, and white, bit of white. And I'm just gonna come here. I think, let me see, I think the camera is showing too much, highlighting too much. I'm gonna kind of give you a little bit of a better idea how it looks here. Okay. So for me, I think this is okay. There's no need to, make the color darker right here. It looks fine, looks good to me. I'm gonna keep it. And then for today, yeah, I think it's good. We're good for today.
Well, I have a question about the inside, because I kind of missed that. I watched the video, but did you do like a wash for
for this? For here?
Yeah.
Oh, it's actually, it was because it was dark like this at first. I darkened certain area a lot more, a bit more with raw umber, which I'll show you what I mean. So I darkened gaps in here a bit more, certain gaps, not everywhere. And then I used a medium tone, a wash, kind of, not heavy paint, adding a little bit of kind of details. So it was, yes, it was kind of a glaze, more than anything. It wasn't heavy paint. Is that what you're asking? Was it a wash?
Because I thought you said that you initially said you were going to do a wash, and then
I think what I did is I didn't do a wash. I used the background here, and I used a thin layer of thin paint, so it wasn't heavy. So because when you use thin paint, when it dries, the background color shows through and it tones down the color on top, because you don't want to see it too much. You want to see a hint of something inside. So when you paint opaque or thick paint, then it's going to sit there and you're going to see it. But if you do a glaze, which is a wash, then it's easier for the paint to, when it dries with the background color will show through, and it will tone it down.
Okay.
So let's say if I want to do anything right now, I can take a bit of raw umber, just raw umber, with a round brush, and just kind of go in and adjust certain things in there, certain details, darken areas a little bit more to give it depth with the raw umber, kind of in between. But honestly, it's a wash. It's a wash. Even the details that I have in there are thin paint. They're done with thin paint, not heavy, thick paint. When we say wash, we think wash like this.
Yeah.
No, it's actually a glazed paint. Paint. It's not heavy paint. It's not thick, opaque. It's glaze. And that's what I mean by wash in this case. Okay, so we're done for this week with this project, just this week. And next week we're going to continue. So what I did meanwhile is I got a brown pencil crayon, and I adjusted the shadow here because it was a bit wobbly and I didn't want to paint it again. And I've added a little bit of shadow in here. So I'm using pencil crayon. So if you have anything in here that you would like to adjust, use a pencil crayon if you don't want to use your brush again. And that would be good enough. To make it look finished.